Hello everyone and welcome to Mental Junk Food, and this is the place where we talk about all things comics, sci-fi, horror, fantasy, pop culture, and everything in between. And I am your host, CB Smallwood, and hopefully today I can offer you a little bit of hope, give you a glimmer of optimism, if I will, in these dark and interesting times that we're living in, and in particular the dark and interesting times as it relates to the comic book industry. But first, before I get into that, I want to remind everyone that I am currently working on my comic book Wildcat, which is written and drawn by me, trying to make it bigger and badder than ever. I'll be releasing an Indiegogo or a Kickstarter for it sometime in the future when I get everything finished. So I'll let you know soon as it's done. But until then, if you want to be notified when I launch an Indiegogo or a Kickstarter for this, please join the mailing list. I'll leave a link down below. Now, with the self-promotion out of the way, let's get into today's story. Now, today's story is basically about Marvel and DC cutting out Diamond Distributors, taking a chunk of what Diamond Distributors does. What I mean is basically making Diamond Distributors no longer a monopoly, because that's what they are. They have a monopoly. They are the sole distributor of comics in North America, and who knows about the rest of the world, right? And as far as I know, it seemed like there was a statistic about, not a statistic, but a specific number, I don't know if it was in 2016, I can't remember, where there was 2,600 stores that were open, 2,600, and within a span of a couple of years it dropped down to 2,300 stores. And every year we're losing anywhere from 20 to 30 comic book stores for various reasons. I'm not going to get into that because that's too much to cover. And last I heard, the rumor was sources within Diamond Distributors, because they keep their numbers private, a source within the company had revealed that there are 1,900 comic book stores. Now, there is a certain number that Diamond Distributors cannot drop below, and if they do drop below a certain number, obviously they can't remain, they can't exist. They're going to go out of business. The cash flow that's coming in will not justify, paying everybody and running the trucks and doing everything that they do, or whatever it is that they do, for that matter. And so, things were kind of going bad year by year. And then the thing that shall not be named, because the YouTube algorithm will punish me if I say it, happened. The thing that we're all living through right now. And it was the straw that broke the camel's back. And so now we're having to deal with the repercussions of that. Diamond Distributors basically, not distributing any comics no more, because there's so many comic shops that probably got a hold of them and saying that we may not even keep our doors open much longer. So maybe they've reached that special number, that apocalyptic number that says Diamond Distributors can no longer exist as a company. Who knows? I don't know. It's a question of how many comic book stores are going to go out of business as a result of everything that's going on. So my bit of optimism is that Marvel and DC, by going to different distribution methods, is basically going to end the monopoly of Diamond distribution. And this is a good thing. And I'll get to that in a little bit. Now first, this article comes to you courtesy of Newsarama. And it's written by Chris Arendt, and the headline reads, Marvel working on larger scale plan to address the thing that shall not be named influence shipping problems. Marvel Comics has informed the direct market retailers that a large scale plan is being worked on by them and Diamond Comic Distributors to address the shipping of upcoming books which were thrown into disarray by the thing that shall not be named, the thing that shall not be named, as part of a weekly Marvel mailer sent out to retailers through Diamond. The publisher attempts to assure retailers as the Diamond distribution stoppage begins this week, with no indication of when or how they will receive Marvel comic books. So let's take a time out here. Let's not take a nap, but a time out. And if I can actually highlight something without highlighting everything on earth. This paragraph right here let's break this down. And this is pure speculation on my part, but so Marvel is on the phone with Diamond Distributors, whoever the top guys are at Marvel that deal with the fiscal end of Marvel. Probably not the editors or even the editor-in-chief, in my opinion. It's somebody above them. Is calling Diamond Distributors, and Diamond Distributors calling them back, and it's like, hey, why aren't our books going to be shipping this month? Why'd you make this decision? A lot of that going on. And Diamond Distributors like, oh, we're hurting. We don't know if we're going to be able to keep our doors open. We don't know how many stores, comic book stores, are going to close and all this stuff. Well, those books need to go out. I picture James Jonah Jameson, as the head of Marvel. Those books got to keep going out. They got to go on the shelves. And so I kind of see, some strong arming tactics, because you have to remember Marvel is owned by Disney, by Mickey Mouse, and freaking DC they're owned by Bugs Bunny, Warner Brothers, which now is owned by AT&T, and they have the lawyers. And so if Diamond Distributors is not distributing books, then there might be a clause, there might be room to break any exclusive contracts with that distribution company. And I imagine Marvel and DC are going to be breaking those contracts. So anyway, getting back to the quote here, as soon as Marvel and DCD have proper knowledge on what the future likely holds during these trying times of the thing that shall not be named, will be update the FOC dates, on sale dates, blah, blah, blah. Read the statement. We assure you that there is a larger scale plan being worked on for the upcoming shipping schedule, and thank you for your patience. That was actually kind of a waste of time to read that. So if we go over to DC, and hopefully this will load. Ah, what a miracle. And look at these thumbnails over here. Check this out. This is pretty interesting thumbnails. I guess people will click on these. And this comes to you courtesy Bleeding Cool, and it's written by the infamous Rich Johnston as of March 28th, 2020. DC Comics will use other distribution methods to get comics to stores. Since the Diamond Comic Distributor shut down and the closure of DC's printer Transcontinental in Canada, which was a pretty big deal, there had been much discussion wondering what DC and Marvel Comics will be doing regarding comic books publishing this coming week. A number of publishers have declared that they will suspend publication, print and digital, while many other comic stores are also shut down. But DC Comics has remained resolutely silent regarding the issue. That changed tonight, as they have now announced something very different to retailers. While they are making all comic books from over a week ago until the end of June returnable, it seems that DC will not stop printing or distributing comics. They have sorted other printers, as we have heard that they may be, but also the other means of distribution. As it stands, DC Comics is exclusive to the direct market through Diamond Comic Distributor, but only, it seems, while Diamond are actually in business of taking new product. And here's a statement, so, let's not read that. Let's go. Let's skip here. Let's go to a different article by Bleeding Cool, also written by Rich Johnston. Penguin Random House, Ingram and Simon and Schuster, now distributing comics. That's interesting. Last week, Boom Studios made an address to comic book stores still in business during the thing that shall not be named. They advised that such comic book retailers, that while they have stopped providing new comics to Diamond Comic Distributors as a result, to Comixology as well, to keep direct market parity. I'm probably not reading that right. You have to help me out here, people. My English is lacking. They were still shipping trade paperbacks and graphic novels to the bookstore market, and advised that comic stores will still operating get accounts from Ingram and Simon & Schuster. Ingram has Marvel, DC, Dark Horse, IDW, Dynamite, Boom, Archie, Scholastic, and more on their list. Simon & Schuster has Boom Studios, Humanoids, Legendary, Rebellion, and more. It seems to be only Image Comics these days among the bigger publishers who are exclusive to Diamond Book Distributors. So there you have it. That's the big news of the day, and I think this is wonderful. It is great. I think it's about time that Diamond Comics Distributors got taken down a peg or two, because they got a little too big for their britches. And as you know, I've been an advocate for this, and I'm not going to beat this drum too loudly, because I know you're getting sick of hearing it. But Diamond Distributors, when they made the decision to take comics out of the mom and pop stores, the gas stations, grocery stores, Walmarts, and the Kmarts, and all the places where human beings frequent, that reduced the reader base drastically. Now, it wasn't at first, of course, because, hardcore fans could still get their comics at comic book stores. But when they took comics out of the mom and pop stores, when they got rid of the spinner racks, that basically cut off any new readership, period. You can't get any new kids to get comics because they don't know that they exist. And this is a true thing, I think even Peter Samedi of Alterna Comics had mentioned that, people come up to him all the time because they're surprised when they see Alterna Comics in bookstores, because he's the smartest man in comics and made sure that his books actually get out to people where they can see them. But when people see his books in bookstores, they're like, wow, they still make comics? And so that's a reality. There's a lot of people honestly don't even know that comics is still a thing. They know that there's, of course, cartoons and movies and t-shirts and everything else but comics. And, it's not just Diamond Distributors to blame. Marvel and DC should take some blame, because if I was them, I would put spinner racks in movie theaters. So when one of their movies plays, people can buy the latest issues and back issues of stuff and get hooked, and tell people in the freaking movies that there are comics and where you can get them, where you can find information to find these places where you can get the books. But there's so much blame to go around. Let's not get into all that. Let me know in the comments section down below. What do you think about this? Do you think it's a good thing that Diamond Distributors is being broken up? Well, it's not being broken up. It looks like it could potentially go out of business, though we don't know that. But do you think it's a good thing that there's competition, that there's all these different publishing houses and all these different distribution companies that are stepping in to distribute these comics by Marvel and DC? Will this make comics just a little hair cheaper, considering that they're about $4 or $5 an issue? It'd be nice. Or will things stay about the same? Is this a bad idea? Let me know in the comments section down below what you think. You all tend to be a lot more articulate, more well thought out, well spoken than I am. I enjoy reading each and every single one of your comments, even the ones I disagree with, especially because you add a different perspective, a different point of view, and I'm more than sure there's other people that agree with you and they love reading what you have to say. As always, this is CB Smallwood, and I will see you in the next video.